Hi, I'm Elaine and I'm here talking to Kevin Scrubs, and today's topic is about the use of really good questions within a mentoring relationship. From my previous career in business coaching, we talked a lot about structuring questions so that you were able to open a conversation rather than close it down. So, for example, we talked a lot about open questions, the what, the where, the who, the how, and the why, although we'll come back to why a little bit later in this chat. You were giving some examples off camera, Kevin, of where you've used that type of open question to really help one of your mentees. Would you like to say something about that?
Yes, well, one of my mentees had some plans, some clear objectives of what they wanted to achieve within their business. And part of the conversation was firstly understanding the objectives and what they were aiming for, but then really getting them to open up on where they are in that journey now, what they've already explored, what were the possibilities to consider, and how much knowledge they had previously to the conversation to be in a position to assess the way to move forward.
Fantastic. So you've already there started your questions with what, with where, with how. Fantastic. I find as well that when I'm listening to somebody and they begin to explore that, so the what question, for example, and then they'll maybe come to a pause, that then by just stopping and listening and then perhaps saying to them, so go on, or tell me a little bit more about that. And what I would refer to as TED, so the things that start with tell me, explain, or describe are the things that then also generate that conversation opening up a little bit more.
Yes. I think if the conversation opens up, they gain in confidence as well. So they're actually putting as much into it as you are. So it's that joint journey. So we're just feeding what they're already considering and listening to what they're talking to us about, and then giving them a little bit of guidance within their comfort zone of what to try next or to explore. And then that's something that you can discuss further and review in the future.
Absolutely. I said earlier that in a mentoring conversation, I'm always really wary of the question that begins with why, because at the minute we say to somebody, why do you do that? We go, and it becomes a defensive thing, doesn't it?
Yes.
So I very often, when I'm training mentors, training coaches, will say to them, just park the why question.
Yeah.
Don't use the why question, because it comes across very often as challenge.
I think I try and avoid it and probably say things like, have you considered, or would this possibly work? And again, keep the conversation whilst you know your objectives, from the conversation, you try and keep it very conversational rather than very direct question that might make them think, have I done something wrong? Am I going the wrong way?
Yeah, exactly. If you read things about questioning, then there's also the closed question, of course, the question that starts almost with a yes or no answer. So an example might be, do you have a good lead generation tool? And somebody might come back and say, yes. Well, you haven't really learned anything. However, closed questions, although they get quite a bad press, I think they are really useful for quick information gathering. Have you come across that?
Yes, I think it's also a good opportunity to use a closed question to agree a final position. So when we're coming to what action points have we agreed, and you might want to summarise them, or depending on what the character of the person you're working with is, sometimes you might have to put some closed questions at the end with clear targets that we're hopefully going to try and achieve to discuss at the next meeting.
Yeah, really good. Yeah, absolutely. So we've got the open, the closed, and the TED words as well.
Yes.
Brilliant. Thank you.